What is going on, Internet? Welcome back to VinTech, the show that takes way too long for every episode to come out. Can't do anything about it. I'm a busy guy, but what do you do? Right now, I'm actually sitting outside my job in my car, looking a little bit disheveled. I'm about 3/4 of the way through my workday, so I had a quick break, and I thought I would take a minute to make a video. I got to thinking about this. Apple kind of tricks. I mean, it's interesting looking at iOS. I just got off about 6-month stint of using iOS exclusively. I went over to Ireland for a semester, and I had only my iPhone 8 Plus, and I was over there for 4 months. I had it a month before. It's been a month since I've been back. It was fascinating using an iPhone exclusively because you get sucked into this environment that is created by iOS, okay? And what's fascinating about it is you don't realize that it's happening until after you go back. So this video is actually being recorded on my older LG G6 that I had from a while ago. I only just recently got the charge port to start working again. It had that weird issue where it would think that there's water in the charge port, but there's not, and there hasn't been in like ever. So it just kind of started working again out of nowhere. I went and got the default cord back, the one that came with it, and I kind of unplugged it and replugged it and did a couple of software tricks to see if I could make it work, and it seems to be working okay. But I gotta tell you, I missed Android something terrible, and what scares me a little bit is that I didn't realize that I missed it until I was back on it. Apple and the iPhone does an amazing good job at fooling you into thinking that iOS is everything you need it to be. And there are a couple of ways that they do that. One of them for sure is how smooth the software runs. iOS is smooth on pretty much every iPhone that the newest one will run on is pretty smooth. I mean, you get down closer to that like iPhone 5S range and it might start to jitter a bit, but oh boy, does it ever. I mean, my fiance still running it on an iPhone 6S, and that thing is still plenty smooth. I mean, there's very few dropped frames, if any. And the Android phones still do that. I mean, the Pixels have gotten better about it, although I've heard from people who've had it for a while that the new Pixels are starting to slow down and become jittery, which is a bit weird to me, but I definitely notice it on this G6. It's a lot worse on the G6 than it was on the iPhone 8 Plus. And they get you by that, that buttery smooth experience is something that so many people want in their smartphone. They want the smartphone to be like a perfect experience, just like an extension of their person, which it is. And, in a lot of ways, the smartphone is just an extension of your body anymore. And they want it to not act funny. They don't want the jitters and the, all the lost frames and the jittery animations, and they don't want that. So they like that the iPhone is smooth. It never like hangs up, especially when it comes to typing on the keyboard. The iPhone keyboard is still the best keyboard, I think, that you can get, period. I mean, it doesn't have the swipe type unless you add that swipe keyboard, which is something you can do, but that keyboard is just smooth. I mean, every Android phone I've tried, the autocorrect is worse. The typing is slower. It's not quite as responsive. It's not able to catch up to the typing quite as easily. But it's still overall a better experience than what you get on iOS. And I'll explain this in a minute. I'm the type of person who always wants something to do with my phone. I'm one of those people that is constantly grabbing for the phone just to fiddle around with it. I use it as a tool. I use it for what it's really for, but I am always wanting to play around with it, especially when I get a new phone. I want to play around with it. I want to see what's up with it. I want to see what's good and what's bad. And so I'm constantly grabbing for whatever phone I use. And the iPhone has this clever trick, and it didn't occur to me that this was the reason for it until after I switched back. But their little notification bubbles on all the icons are an excellent way to keep people using their phones, because people like to get rid of the little red icons. It's like a game. Like, they see the red icon and they want to go get rid of it. They want to do whatever it takes to get rid of that icon. That means opening up Facebook to get rid of the Facebook notifications, because they've got 20 of them. They open that up, and now they've opened up Facebook. They're using the iPhone. They go over to, Twitter, because they've got X number of notifications from Twitter. They want to go get rid of it. YouTube, you turn on the bell notification thing, and you get notified anytime somebody releases a new video. They open up YouTube. It's become like a game. But the game basically is Apple gets to keep you using the iPhone. And that is one of the reasons why that 6-month period that I was using the iPhone 8 Plus, it was by far the least in my way phone that I ever got. Or it seemed like it. It seemed like it never got boring to me, really. It seemed like it was working really well for a long time. And I think the reason for that was because I always had something to do on the phone. Like, there was always some reason for me to pick up the phone and mess around with it and, check the notifications. And it didn't occur to me that that was what was helping me stay content with the phone until I turned on the G6 for the first time in a very long time. And I noticed that it does the same thing. There's these little notifications, and you want to go and open up the notifications. Now, speaking of notifications, not the notification bubbles, but the notification tray, wow, is it bad on iOS. Like, it's so bad on iOS. Like, you get things in, and they, and I almost wonder if this is a trick too, or it was supposed to be, where every time you get a notification from any app ever, it sends that notification to your notification tray, and you pull it down and you've got like 1 million notifications. I almost wonder if they did that on purpose so that people feel popular and feel important or whatever, but it's a dumpster fire. Like, it is terrible. I didn't realize how bad it was on iOS, because they trick you into thinking that it's not. Like, it seems so natural that would be how it is, until you go back to an Android and everything's grouped and you can respond from the notification, and it's just so not in your way. And you don't have to, when you pull down from the top on an Android phone, you don't get sent back to the frickin' home lock screen or whatever. I don't know what they were thinking with that one on the iPhone, but it's like this weird walled garden. Like, everybody talks about the walled apple garden that exists, and it does. I mean, there's people, what they're referring to when they talk about that, I think, is just you get set up in the ecosystem. The iPhone talks to the Mac, which talks to the iPad, which talks to the EarPods or whatever. That's great. I mean, it's handy. When I had the iPhone, I have a MacBook Pro, so that was kind of nice, but it's so not worth the trade-off. And that's one of the reasons why I ordered a Samsung Galaxy S9 today. So I've dumped $300 into it, because I'm on an old grandfathered plan that, allows me to purchase the phones at the subsidized pricing. But $300 is still $300 for a phone. So I'm kind of invested. I have to stick with this phone or sell it or something. So, I'm gonna report back to see kind of how different it is going to. I've never owned a Samsung device, okay, and everyone keeps telling me that the Samsung Galaxy series is the iPhone of Android. So, if everything is buttery smooth, let me give you a small list here. The buttery smooth animations, the attractive looks of the physical phone, the attractive looks of the software, and a good freaking camera. That's huge. Having a good camera on a phone is so important when you're doing something like this, for example. Now, technically I'm a content creator, right? I make videos. This is a video. It's made on this. But I'm not really, like, this isn't my full-time job. It couldn't be my full-time job. You know, this is kind of a niche area of YouTube that I'm occupying, and right now there's, 50 people maybe who will see this video. Although, if you got friends, I'd love it if you send it to them, That's, as always, a small plug because you have to, but I've got to know, I've got to know, is it just, if I'm right on this, I think the iPhone totally tricks you into thinking that it's perfect because it's pretty, it's smooth, and it keeps you entertained, but with those little bubbles. Other than that, I can't think of a single reason to use the iPhone over something like the Galaxy S9, over something like the Google Pixel, especially the Pixel 2s were fantastic phones. I mean, the regular Pixel 2 was a little ugly, but, or any other Android phone. I mean, the Galaxy S series is the obvious other choice. And they just do so much more. I forgot how handy it was to be able to sideload apps if you wanted to, or just install whatever you want. And I've resorted to paying, because I had the iPhone, I resorted to paying for my Wi-Fi hotspot instead of just using like a USB tether. Once you cross that barrier, there's nothing that an Android phone can't do that an iPhone can do, other than really communicate with the Mac. But that's such a small part of owning that phone that I cannot believe that anyone would go and buy that phone specifically, rightfully, and use it just that way because it talks to their Mac. I don't buy it. AirDrop's handy, but so is NFC and any other way of sharing files. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, yeah, I thought I'd throw this video out there. It's 12 minutes long, which is probably longer than it should be, but it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this video was kind of entertaining or interesting to you. If so, like the video, share it, comment. I would definitely appreciate a comment. Let me know if you think I'm right about this. Does the iPhone fool people into thinking that it's the best platform because it's the most aesthetically pleasing, with the eye candy and things that'll catch your eye to make you go back and use the phone? Is it all engineered? Is it all intentional? Or am I just a wacky conspiracy theorist in this car? Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.